Alex Eala, she beat Swiatek on the way to get there. I mean, incredible performance. And she's just got this huge following in the Philippines.
She is such a good friend of mine. I thought I was super lucky to have her.
3 years ago, Iga Swiatek stood at a podium inside the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca and delivered a graduation speech for a 17-year-old girl from the Philippines that most of the tennis world had never heard of. 15 months ago, that same girl walked onto the court at the Miami Open quarterfinals and dismantled her 6-2, 7-5 in straight sets. 2 months ago, the academy that hosted that graduation posted a single photograph of the two of them together, side by side, with one word as the caption: reunited. That is not a storyline. That is a detonation. Let's start with the narrative that the tennis press has been selling, because it matters that you understand exactly how wrong it is. After Roland Garros, analyst Greg Rosetsky went on record. He used the word plateaued. He pointed to Alex Eala's serve. He pointed to a clay court swing that produced losses to Ostapenko, Leylah Fernandez in Stuttgart, Rybakina in Rome, and a first-round Roland Garros exit on May 26th to Eva Liss, a player Eala herself considers a friend. The story was clean. It was damaging. And it was being repeated across every major tennis platform. A 20-year-old Filipina ranked number 37 had flashed brilliance at Miami. The argument went, and had since stalled out. The ceiling had been found. The plateau was real. That is the public story. The private story, the one unfolding on practice courts across Europe, says something else entirely. To understand what is actually happening, you need to go back to what changed inside Swiatek's camp first. After Miami 2026, Iga fired coach Wim Fissette and hired Francisco Roig, the Spanish veteran who spent years as Rafael Nadal's dedicated hitting coach, a man who breathes the Nadal Academy's philosophy of relentless physical preparation and tactical discipline. Roig is based in Spain. He is plugged directly into the Nadal Academy network. That single hire didn't just change Iga's coaching structure. It placed the world number 3 on the exact courts where Alex Eala lives and trains. The reunion was never a question of if. It was always a question of when. The when arrived on April 4th, 2026. The Rafa Nadal Academy posted a photograph to its official Instagram account. Iga Swiatek and Alex Eala, standing side by side, smiling directly at the camera. The caption: reunited. 44,000 likes. And here is the detail that gets overlooked in the excitement of the moment. It was the academy that posted that photograph. Not a player's personal account. Not a marketing team chasing engagement. The institution itself chose to make that moment public. The Rafa Nadal Academy, one of the most respected training institutions in the sport, told the tennis world which 2 players belonged at the center of the frame. That is not casual content. That is an institutional endorsement. 2 weeks later, the photographs became real work. At the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix in Stuttgart, one of the most prestigious premier events on the women's calendar, Eala and Swiatek took to center court together for practice sessions that were streamed publicly. YouTube uploads of the footage cleared 26,000 views each. And they were not hiding on a back court. They were not sneaking in a quiet hour before the cameras arrived. The defending Wimbledon champion was choosing, repeatedly, visibly, deliberately, to be seen working with Alex Eala in front of cameras. Then Madrid. Then the Nadal Academy again. The same 2 names, the same configuration, 3 different tournaments across 2 months. At some point, coincidence stops being a word that applies. This is a working partnership. Now, let's revisit Greg Rosetsky, because this is where the story becomes genuinely extraordinary. The same analyst who used the word plateaued was asked directly on his podcast in April whether the Swiatek sessions were helping Eala. He did not hedge. He did not qualify. He said, "No question. You want to see if you can do it with the very best at the highest level, and she's beaten already. She's beaten a lot of great players. Why not?" Then he added the line that every Filipino sports account should have pinned to their page. When you have Rafa as your advisor, it doesn't get any better. Read those 2 statements back to back. One is a critique of a serve on clay. The other is a confirmation that the most powerful support infrastructure in modern tennis has chosen this player. The man who said she plateaued also confirmed her team is the best in the sport. Then came May 26th, and the most important data point in this entire story. Iga Swiatek walked onto Court Philippe Chatrier on her 25th birthday. The court where she has lifted 4 French Open trophies. The surface she has dominated for years. And she lost. 7-5, 6-1 to Marta Kostyuk. Straight sets. In front of Paris. A defending Wimbledon champion. A new coach finding his footing. A ranking under pressure. 3 weeks until grass begins. In the last 18 months, exactly one player in IGA's recent practice rotation has actually beaten her at a Grand Slam level event. That player is ranked number 37. That player does not have a top 10 ranking. That player is Alex Eala. Now look at what the next 30 days hold. Birmingham's 125K event arrives in mid-June, with Eala entering as the top seed. Opening against Priscilla Honorable, it is grass. It is competitive. It is exactly the kind of surface preparation the moment demands. Bad Homburg follows immediately after, a Wimbledon tune-up event that Swiatek herself has used in past seasons, and the headline attached to Eala's name there is Venus Williams. A doubles partnership on grass, in a prestige event, 48 hours before Wimbledon begins. Venus Williams did not agree to play doubles with a player she doesn't believe in. That is not how Venus Williams operates. Swiatek did not return to the same practice partner 3 times across 2 months by accident. The Rafa Nadal Academy did not post that photograph by accident. 3 of the most consequential names in the history of women's tennis, Nadal's institution, Swiatek's camp, Venus Williams, have all, within a single 30-day window, publicly aligned themselves with Alex Eala's Wimbledon preparation. But the Roland Garros loss still has to be addressed, because it hurt, and because Eala herself didn't pretend otherwise. On May 26th, she lost 4-6, 2-6 in the first round to Eva Liss, a player she has spoken about warmly. She didn't disappear.
She didn't deflect.
She told the Philippine Inquirer directly that she was proud of her progress and was embracing the growing pains that come with climbing into the top tier of professional tennis. 48 hours later, her name was appearing in the same Wimbledon preparation sentence as the defending champion. That is not the timeline of a player who has plateaued. That is the timeline of a player whose worst day is still being treated as a temporary detour by the people who have already decided where her ceiling is. Here is the full arc, because when you lay it out in sequence, the press narrative doesn't just look wrong. It looks embarrassing. 3 years ago, Iga Swiatek delivers a graduation speech for a 17-year-old at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca. 15 months ago, that 17-year-old beats her 6-2, 7-5 at the Miami Open quarterfinals. 2 months ago, the Academy posts a photograph of their reunion, and the tennis world registers 44,000 likes. 2 weeks ago, they share center court at Stuttgart in publicly streamed sessions. 2 days ago, the defending Wimbledon champion loses on her birthday in Paris and turns her preparation entirely toward grass. The relationship between these 2 players has moved from mentor and student to rival and training partner to, if the draw produces the collision that is now firmly on the table, champion and challenger on the most watched grass court in the world. The press has been writing the plateau story. The player at the top of the mountain has been writing a completely different one. Wimbledon begins at the end of this month. Both names are in the draw. So here is the question that is worth fighting over in the comments right now, before the bracket is announced, before Birmingham gives us data, before a single Bad Homburg doubles point is played. If Iga Swiatek and Alex Eala meet at Wimbledon 2026, on the surface where Eala made her first WTA final at Eastbourne last year, against a defending champion, under the full weight of pressure, who walks off center court with the win? Drop your prediction below. Show your work. Bring the head-to-head numbers, the form argument, the matchup logic. Stake your claim now. Because every Birmingham result, every Bad Homburg grass point, every leaked Wimbledon practice photograph is getting broken down on this channel, and you want your prediction on the record before the evidence starts coming in.
Subscribe. Stay close.
The next 30 days decide everything.